It's synced, because that's what we need.
G'day.
Welcome back to the last lines of Noobs and Men. I'm Sean.
I'm Liam.
It's Liam.
Just yesterday, as we're recording this, the Fall of the Necromancer came out.
Yeah, exciting supplement that none of us really expected.
Not really at all, until it got announced like a couple of weeks ago, or whatever it was. I genuinely no idea.
No idea what was coming. It's come with some nice models as well, with the Witch King model.
The Witch King model and the terrain.
Some dice, and it's looking like there's going to be a bunch of out-of-production models that are also going to be returning as well.
I'm very keen for.
Oh yes, get me some Sentinels, please.
Sentinels, the
Castellans.
White Council, Castellians.
Ooh, hot diggity dog. Let's go.
So, we thought we'd have a sit down and discuss the new Legendary Legions.
Yeah, because bugger the narrative play. We ain't about that life. We're here for
competitive.
We're here for the Legendary Legions. So that you don't have to skip through a 5-hour video of people going through the entire book, we're jumping straight into the Legendary Legions, and we're jumping in right now with the kings of jumping around things, the Mirkwood Rangers Legendary Legion.
Mirkwood Rangers Legendary Legion.
Which I'm very excited about.
I'm less excited about.
I am going to tell this story because it's kind of a funny story, kind of. So I obviously knew that the Mirkwood Rangers were going to get their Legendary Legion. I was walking around a shop, a hobby store, and they had not much in terms of Lord of the Rings stuff, but they had Defenders of Lake Town blister pack, which has the Bard, Leggy, and Tariel, and they had a box of Mirkwood Rangers. And standing at that shop, I started writing up a little 500-point army list. Because I was like, let's try and jump on this Legendary Legion. So I've got the army before it comes out. Let's go. And so I started building that army. Legendary Legion came out. And it's so much better than I thought it was going to be.
It's pretty bonkers.
I genuinely thought that they would get... the best thing that they would have got would be the ambush special rules. So similar to what the Hobbits and the Goblin Mercenaries can do. Yeah. I thought they would have got that. And... what the Black Dragon Acolytes have, where they can just jump around different terrain. Yeah. That was all I thought they were going to get. But, seeing this...
Man. So, the Legendary Legion is Leggy, Tariel, the Mirkwood Ranger Captain, Mirkwood Rangers themselves, and Sentinels. The fact that it includes Sentinels is so huge.
I was quite worried. Sitting on this list for about 3 weeks... having the Sentinel in that list, I thought Legendary Legion probably won't allow them to take it.
Can't believe it.
That was the first thing I looked for, was can they take Sentinels, and bang, they sure can. So really excited about that.
It's so big. It's so big. Huge. This is essentially going to be the new Rangers of Athelion.
Yeah, I think the slight difference though is because of the points value between each model. You're not going to get 36.
But that's the thing.
You're not going to get 36 bows.
With the new restrictions on the Rangers of Athelion...
It does.
They come to roughly even bow counts, and suddenly you've got Strength 3 bows, you've got Legolas...
Tariel, Captains, Sentinels...
Yeah, you're... And then, oh my god,
it's huge.
First drop of the rules...
Or the additional rules.
Yes.
So they can take 100% bows, similar to what the Athelion Rangers used to be able to do.
Yep, and Mirkwood themselves.
Yep. But you have to take Legolas or Tariel in the list, and one of those two has to be the leader.
Yeah. So that's honestly that was always going to be a given, really. Given the list, you're always going to have 100% bows because all the models have bows. And you're going to take Lego or Tariel anyway because they're just such powerful.
You're going to take both
powerful
because they're sensational. So,
And so the big thing at the start is that they can do shielding.
Yeah, so they've got the special knife mastery, so they can now do shielding. They do sacrifice their knife fighter special rule.
Yeah, so they can only shield with at most 2 attacks, or if it's like Leggy or Tariel, they're 4 or 6.
Yeah, which is honestly
still huge.
Not an issue. It is massive.
Yeah.
This Legendary Legion does suffer from not being able to take a banner, but I think this shielding
mitigates
that. But
it helps.
It helps.
It helps for sure.
It would definitely benefit from a banner.
Because that's the thing. They're either going to be up against a lot of units, and then they've got a bunch of attacks anyway, so you're not going to shield anyway.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be up against one unit, and you're going to be like, okay, I don't want them to die. I'm going to shield.
Yeah.
It's massive. Like, that's so big, and not only that. But
free fainting.
Yeah, they have free fainting. They don't have to call fainting. They don't lose their fight value. They just re-roll ones to wound, which is huge.
Sensational.
Oh, so big.
Which is a rule I'm going to forget about all the time.
But, I mean, the thing is, though, like, you think about this now, suddenly Legolas or Tariel, their strength 4 coming into a combat, they're suddenly, if they were normally wounding on, say, 5 or 6, they're suddenly now wounding on, like, you've got that extra chance to get the 5 or 6 with that one. That's, like, so big.
Oh, yeah.
It's so big.
It's, in some cases, an extra attack or 2.
Which is essentially, like, it's the reroll ones, it's not, like, as good as, like, a reroll all wounds or anything like that, but it's still, it's still so big.
Yeah.
And then,
the next one is Prince of Mirkwood, which is a special rule for Legolas, so he now gets the Knife Fighter special rule, which allows him to get an extra
bonus attack for every model in combat.
Yeah, up to 3 bonus attacks, so he can go to a max of 5 attacks.
Which is so big. That's the biggest thing about Leggy in almost any list, is that he's only 2 attacks, which it always, I think, takes people off guard, because you watch him in the movie, and he's like,
oh yeah.
And you're like, oh, he's going to be a monster in combat.
He's got 5 attacks.
Yeah, and suddenly, like, oh, he's got 2 attacks. Oh, he's only D4. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, oh, D5, you chuck armor on him. Which I think he gets in the Legion. No.
Probably not.
Interesting. So, he has armor base. He has armor base in Mirkwood. That's what I'm thinking of, yeah. You have to add armor to him in the Fellowship.
But it is really nice to see that Elven Cloaks are written down as 5 points.
Finally.
Took their time.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, oh God, him just being able to just throw Legolas into combats with possibly 5 attacks at strength 5 to 6. Huh. My lord.
Great stuff. I'm looking forward to that.
He's going to be chopping through everything. Holy shit.
And next...
Low battery?
Low bat.
Let's see how we go. And
the next one is Masters of the Forest, which I'm excited for as well. I'm excited for this whole Legion just in general.
The whole Legion.
Essentially, it's a 6-up Fury saves when you're within 1 inch of any tree.
Yeah, so you take
terrain.
Anyone takes a wound within 1 inch of a tree, they suddenly have a Fury save.
Yeah.
Which
when you're D3 for basically your entire army is huge.
Yeah, so, and even on your heroes. You fucking have that on Tariel or Legolas, you suddenly don't have to spend their fate point.
It will make a lot of players playing this want to just hang around the tree areas.
Their whole Legion is going to be hanging around trees anyway, because if there is trees on the board, that Legion's in it. They've all got Elven Cloaks.
Yeah.
They're all really low defense. They don't want to be shot anyway.
Exactly.
You're going to be in, like, you're only ever fighting this Legion in a fucking dense forest, and that's it.
Or just anywhere they can use their Elven Cloaks.
Yeah.
Hiding around terrain. That's their whole thing. The next one is Clear the Nest, which just gives them hatred spiders.
Yeah, +1 to wounds against spiders in close combat.
Yep. But the next big one is Silent Ambush. So they get +1 to their dice roll for reinforcements, so the likes of Reconnoiter when coming onto the board.
Yep.
And they get +1 or -1 in Maelstrom games.
Man.
Which is another big one.
It's that's pretty massive, because you always want this army to be deploying together. Yeah, because if they're apart, they're close enough. Yeah, if they're apart, like their shooting can do all right, but they're gonna get picked off.
Yeah. The big strategy with this army, even before this Legendary Legion, is let's talk 500 points, 2 bulky warbands that essentially, when need be, one's moving, one's shooting, and then you're alternating that around the board, but they're still close enough together that when they need to come into combat, the 2 warbands can
Yeah, and you just squish your opponent.
Yeah.
And like your opponent's going to be too scared to put too many models in there because otherwise you're just going to get a million attacks anyway. Yeah, I think it's a really strong Legendary Legion, and the biggest thing it suffers from, no banner.
No banner.
Huge
low defense.
Low defense.
Always big.
Yeah.
But with that Fury save, that's going to help out there. But still, would have liked a 5+, but only Arnold gets that.
Only Arnold gets a 5+.
I need to get me some Sean K dice so I can get my 6s.
Get those 6s up. Man, it's a strong Legendary Legion. I would absolutely take this over regular Mirkwood. Unless obviously you want to chuck Thranduil and his Plat Palace Guards in there.
Yeah.
Like regular Mirkwood's going to be great anyway, but this, if you're taking Rangers, you might as well take this Legendary Legion. Yeah, exactly. And the Sentinels. Being able to go, oh hey, like I want you to put more models, like I want you to have more models threatening me. Okay.
Thank you.
Come in here.
Yeah.
Man,
massive.
Oh hey, a spear support. Oh, I don't really want this fight to have spear supports on it.
Bye.
See you later.
I want to block that little gap. Sick. Whoop.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, the Sentinels.
Yeah, no, it's a strong list. I think we're going to be seeing this is a lot of games now. Ugh.
Our next one is the Vanquishers of... Is it just called Vanquishers?
I think it's the Vanquishers of the Necromancer or something along those lines.
Vanquishers of the Necromancer, that's it.
Nailed it.
That's it.
Vanquishers of the Necromancer. This is the one I'm excited about, even though it's probably trash. I love this Legion. So
it's a good narrative one.
Yeah. You have Ratty. He can have his Slay if he wants to. You have Grandaddy. Gandalf. You have Galadriel. You have Elrond, and you have
Sarumami,
or Killjoy. Saruman. I mean, 5 absolutely top tier heroes, and they get some incredible fucking rules. So the big thing is that you have to have Galadriel and you have to have Saruman, and Saruman is always the leader, and they have to deploy as one warband. That is the biggest rule that I do not like about this Legendary Legion, because it just means you're so much more limited with your deployment, and you're suddenly... I mean, to be fair, you do want this Legendary Legion together. They've got a lot of rules that synergize with each other and need to be in close proximity, so it's not the worst.
But there's nothing better than a single drop.
Yeah, single drops.
I love single drops. I hate any Legendary Legion or anything that makes you deploy as one warband.
Yeah,
the Grey Company Legendary Legion in the War of Gondor, or whatever it's called, that supplement book, that... I love the theme, I love the idea, but I'd much prefer to run that army, but normally...
Yeah. You don't have the single drop problems. Yeah. It's rough, but I think in this Legendary Legion, it's overcomeable, because you have so many rules that synergize together, which we will get into. So the big ones at the start, there's we're not going to go through the names because there's like literally 9 special rules, but the big ones at the start are you get +1s to resists when you're within 6 inches of friendly models. You get being able to cast in combat. Any spells you can cast in combat, which, oh my god, is huge.
There's going to be some FAQs floating around.
There's going to be so many FAQs.
How does that work with Sorcerer's Blast? Is a big one that a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
Does that affect both models? I'm assuming it doesn't. I'm assuming that it's just going to affect the model that you're in combat with, and it's just going to...
Which also, you don't even have to hit the model you're in combat with, because Sorcerer's Blast has the 6-inch range. You can just be like, is it 6, 12? Might have been 12. Anyway, has the range that you can just go, I'm just going to target that dude over there, or I'm going to target the spear support, or I'm going to target your banner, or just whatever.
There's a lot of questions that need answering in terms of how things...
We have questions. Questions that need answering. I'm going to chuck up that fucking clip now.
I don't know. What is it from?
It's from Lord of the Rings, you piece of shit. From the Fellowship.
Yep, fair enough.
Alright. So, you then have, which was one of my favourite special rules.
I'm now Sean Kirby. I watch those movies. I'm not even joking.
So often. How do you not?
Time.
It's Gandalf chatting to Frodo.
To Hobo Baggins.
Yeah, and he's fucking leaving. He's like, I have questions that need answering.
Honestly, I thought that was a horrible Histories reference.
Oh.
But here I am.
I mean, yeah, right.
Just do a better Gandalf voice and I might have understood it.
My Gandalf voice is flawless.
Just say my favourite thing about Gandalf, I was watching The Hobbit the other day, is in the second movie, on the borders of Mirkwood, Bilbo Baggins is like, hey Gandalf, I found something in the mountains. And it's like, ooh, what'd you find? And then he realises, I'm not going to tell him about the ring, so I'm just going to say, I found my courage. And Gandalf's response and how he says, good, you'll need it, is my favourite thing ever. Just the way he says, you'll need it.
Well, because he knew at that point that he was about to fucking ditch them all. He was about to get them all eaten by spiders.
Whenever I need to say, you'll need it, in just like life, I always say, you'll need it. It's just beautiful. Anyway.
Do a better Gandalf impression, I might have gotten that. So after that...
we actually hate each other.
That tangent, and also the fact that we have battery problems. Let's keep going. So, you get the wizards getting attacks equal to their wounds. That is huge. Suddenly you have...
5, strength 4, or strength 5 if you Gandalf.
Yeah, 3 attacks. 3 attacks running around. Let's go, boys.
Huge.
Ooh, I love it. What I also really love about this is that you chuck Ratty on a sleigh and he's suddenly got a million fucking attacks.
Yeah.
He has like
because
so
he can take
many
his sleigh
fucking
in this,
attacks.
which his Tokyo Drift sleigh.
Yeah, his just being able to move normally sleigh, which makes no sense. It absolutely should have chariot rules. My god. Anyway.
Another video.
That's, oh my god. Rules we fucking hate in MESBG.
Let's go.
So, yeah, wizards get wounds as attacks. Amazing. The big rules on every model, big rules that they all get on the individual models. We'll start with Saruman because he is my favourite model in the list.
2 spells!
2 spells, baby! Ha! The best spellcaster in the game suddenly has 2 spells a turn. Mwah! Rerolls, transfixing on 2s. He has to cast different spells, but you can just be like, I'm going to Sorcerous Blast this, and I'm going to transfix that. Most of the time you want to cast 2 different spells.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I will be sitting there with Saruman as Isengard, which is usually how I run him. I'll be sitting there, I'll be like, oh, I need to transfix this guy, but I want to Sorcerous Blast this guy. Don't even need to worry about that.
Talking about re-rolling casts within 3 inches, everyone else can
re-roll
their cast.
Yep.
Gives them Lord of the Astari. How good.
My god. So good. I love this special rule. Saruman is easily suddenly the best model in this list.
Yeah.
Second only to, I would say, Ratty, but we'll get into him. So, Galadriel can suddenly cast Banish against non-spirit models, however they get a free resist point. Which, you know, like, it's definitely solid, especially in conjunction with her big bomb, which we'll get into in a sec as well.
And everyone within 3 inches of her gets resistant to magic.
So not only do they have +1s to magic resistance, they also have a free dice to throw at it as well. So they are suddenly like...
Would that give a few of them 2 free dice to throw at resist?
Yeah, well, if they've got the free will per turn, Ratty, Gandaddy, Saramummy and Gladdy suddenly have 2 dice to throw at resist, and +1s on the resist as well.
Huge.
Without spending any of their store at all.
Yeah. And now I think this is probably the worst one. Gandalf.
Yeah, Gandalf gets a bit of a short straw in this one.
Courage based, but it doesn't really matter with them all.
So he's fearless, which he's courage 7 anyway. So yeah, and models within 3 inches of him don't
get courage debuff. So they don't suffer the effects of Harbinger and anything like that.
Yeah, all of Harbinger, Ancient Evil, that kind of stuff. They don't suffer that anymore. Which again is solid. But I feel like for the most part, this list is courage 6 or 7 anyway.
Yeah.
So
the Harbinger, if they're going up against the Necromancer, which is probably
this is
this is meant to So
it's part of the theme. It makes sense, but yeah, it's kind of average. But Elrond gets some really good
free
heroic strike. Amazing.
Because he doesn't need it.
I mean, he doesn't. He's fight 6 already,
Yeah.
but you're coming up against like an Azog or a Bolg. You suddenly are like, oh, I'll just strike up. Done.
Sick.
And then suddenly you're able to beat them in combat.
Yeah.
Man, I love that special. And
He's a 3-inch banner.
He's a 3-inch banner on an army that already is basically fight 5 base, fight 6, fight 7, all that kind of
3 attacks strikes and all that jazz.
They all have 3 attacks. They all have high fight value, and now they have a banner. It does make them
everything.
It does make them really suddenly a lot more viable having that banner.
Yeah.
Because suddenly they're not spending might to win fights. Sometimes they'll be bannering, and it just, man.
Because this list, the only issue with this list,
I mean, the biggest issue
is numbers.
Yeah,
it covers everything.
Yeah.
Banner, courage, fight value, attack. Like it covers everything.
The biggest thing,
numbers.
Yeah, the biggest thing they get to is they can get to 850 points. They have 5 models, or 800 points. You can have 5 models. 850 is if you add the sleigh. 800 is if you don't have the sleigh.
Talking about the sleigh.
Yeah, so talking about the sleigh, we have Ratty. Any model in base contact with him at the start of the turn, he rolls a 4 or 5, and I think it doesn't even have to be the start of the turn. Double check. I'm going to read that rule right now. Alright, we're back. At any point in his move phase, he is in base contact with the model. He can roll a dice. On a 4-5, he heals 1 wound. On a 6, he heals all lost wounds.
So does that mean he can walk up to them and then walk away?
Yeah. He can also then go, oh, I'm on my sleigh. Boop, run. Boop. Like, he's just suddenly going...
Can he only do that once per turn?
Once per turn, but he then can cast a magical power. And
renew, baby!
So he's healing 2 models a turn all of a sudden, and with your only 5 models, like, you need all of them alive at all costs. So you're just suddenly... Ratty is your
healer.
White mage. He's coming in and Man.
Heal!
Yeah, he's just trying to keep your entire army alive, which they are so survivable at that. With fate rerolls on a lot of them, with oh my god, so many different special rules keeping them alive. And it almost makes this list, even at 800 points with only 5 models,
doable.
It's close to doable. It is so close to doable.
It is one of those armies that 1 turn of bad luck,
you're dead.
Depletes it. They're gone. 1 good turn of shooting, even though they've got blinding light. Yeah. If your opponent gets just a few 6s, and then those 6s do enough damage.
Yeah, it definitely it's a fair weather army, big time. Like they will collapse with some bad rounds, but man, that Ratty heal, amazing. And the last one is
Galadriel's bomb.
Galadriel's bomb. So end of the game, you haven't gotten leader wounds. Galadriel's sitting there on 1 will. You suddenly go, hey.
Boromir, bye.
Boom! She can cast a channeled banishment for no resistance. You can't resist it. And you will be hit by that immediately. And she can hit any model with her banishment thing. The big thing is, she goes prone, she loses Lady of Light, and she loses her war aspect. So she's suddenly just a weak, pathetic creature. But if it's like a Hail Mary end of the game, you just want to blow someone up, or if you really want to just be, I don't want to verse this thing, you can throw it on like an Azog or a Bolg or a Balrog or a Saruman or a Sauron. Like,
they can use their fate to
but you throw that on a Sauron or a Balrog, they can't resist it. They've got no fate. They die. Oh, holy shit. Yeah, it's actually a massive special rule, but it's really hard. It'll be very hard to know when to cast it because it's if you cast it at the start, Galadriel's suddenly
doing nothing, lying on the floor.
She can get back up, but like
after that, she does nothing. Yeah,
like she can blinding light, and that's about it. It's rough to do at start of the turn, absolutely. She is suddenly just blinding light, but
if need be,
if there's a big model that you know is going to cause you a lot of issues, do it, bomb it. Especially if it's only got one fate.
Yeah.
Fuck, that thing's dead. Or one or no fate, like just bomb it. Yeah, I mean the rest of your boys will surely be able to pick up most of the slack, especially if they're not getting shot at.
So I'm looking at a spider up there.
Oh, hello.
Just thinking what my Rangers would do to it.
But yeah, man, solid Legendary Legion. So much to go over, but I genuinely think it could be competitive.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's going to take some piloting. It's definitely one of those lists that the pilot will be the difference. It's not a Riders of Theoden that you can just go, hey, you're new, play this.
Yeah. And I think the other big thing is it's also very scenario dependent as well.
Yeah.
Which I think if you're taking it to a game that has the veto system, I think you can definitely still stand a much better chance as well. Yeah. But next we have probably the Legion both of us hate the most.
The piss of Dol Gul'Dum.
The piss of Dol Gul'Dum. Dol Gul'Dum.
Because Azog's not already powerful enough.
Yeah, so this Legendary Legion is Legendary Legion for Azog, who was already an absolute beast. I will say, after it's come out, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's definitely not as crazy as we thought, but
you are out of frame. Yeah, it's still very powerful. I mean, you've got Azog. He can have his White Warg. You've got the Keeper, the Gundabad Captains,
the Gun
Caps, Hunter Orc Captains, Gun Orcs, Hunter Orcs,
Spell Wargs,
and yeah.
But the fun one, Thrain
the Broken, woo!
Who's a 10-point monster.
Oh man, Thrain is we were looking at this Legendary Legion and I was so excited about Thrain, and Sean was like, oh, what's his, like, I don't really think he's that good.
What's his deal? I've never really looked at his rules.
So for a 10-point model, he has his little courage thing that if he passes it on a double, which is a double 3, a double 4, a double 5, a double 6, he is suddenly a fight 6, strength 4, 3 attacks, beast of a fucking dude. Like,
2 points.
Yeah, he's only D4.
The one turn that's going to happen per game, he's going to dominate.
Yeah. I mean, it's rarely going to go off. It might not even go off it once a game, but man,
it's so worth 10 points.
For 10 points, what are you going to spend 10 points on that isn't as valuable as that? Like, there's nothing.
That's it.
There is nothing you're spending 10 points on that isn't just as massive as that is.
So Azog's got to be a leader.
Yeah,
Azog's got to be a leader. They've got the surprise attack special rule, which is auto priority once per game, and it negates heroic moves that turn, which fucking hell, it's game winning in many different
It's huge. It's absolutely like you suddenly got an objective game that you don't have all the objectives on. You just go, oh, I've got priority. I'm gonna cut you out of all the objectives.
Yeah.
You have a reconnoiter. You want to get off the board. I win the turn. Everyone's off the board. You are about to trap a leader. I win the turn. I trap your leader. It's just there's so many situations.
It's fucking massive.
So many situations where
game changing and game winning.
Yeah.
100%.
And your opponent can do nothing about it. Yeah. Not even call their heroics.
Just pray that you're shit at the game.
Yeah. My God. That's huge. I think that's the biggest rule of this Legendary Legion. Yeah. That is absolutely massive.
You've got the legend or the fuck. I had a stroke.
We have 10% battery left.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So
stop stroking out.
Stop stroking!
The next special rule, with the best fucking name, Magical Void.
Magical Void is such
for the worst fucking rule.
Oh yeah, it just gives them resistance to magic. But like, that can be really good for like an Azog, especially like you suddenly have a free point of will to throw at resist tests, which magic is quite a good way to deal with Azog.
Yeah. It is handy.
He's on White Warg, suddenly he's got 3 dice, and I think he's got 5 will to resist on top.
Along the line.
Huge. Yeah. Like, that's very hard to suddenly chop down Azog there. But yeah, Magical Void is such a cool name.
It's fucking awesome.
And the last one.
Fury the Pale Orc, which is not a Fury save.
Not a Fury save.
He gets a free heroic combat every turn, which is dumb. He doesn't need it. I'm just thankful for this Legion. He is only, what is it, D5 or D6?
Yeah, he's D5 because he doesn't
have his lowest defense value, which is massive.
Yeah. But you chuck him on White Warg with a free heroic combat a turn, he is
6 points a
chopping. He is
done.
Absolutely chopping through your army.
Yeah.
Azog is definitely like, you've got to deal with him. In fact, burst him down with Galadriel's thing. He's only 1 fate.
Yeah.
Boom.
Turn 1. See ya.
Yeah.
Another thing is that you can't take your big hitters from your Azog's Legion list. So you can't take your trolls, you can't take your ogres, your bats.
Yeah.
Which does limit this a bit, but honestly, that's fine.
Yeah.
Azog on his own can do it. If this did have the bats, the trolls, the ogres, this is the only army you would ever see in the game.
That's it. That's the one Legendary Legion ever. Like, my god. I mean, Azog on his own is already still fucking powerful in that list. Especially because they got fucking Master of Battle.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, my god. One day we're going to go over all the rules we don't like, and Azog definitely fucking features in a lot of it.
And his son.
Oh my god, his son.
Fight 7 Bulk, baby.
Anyway, that's that Legendary Legion. It didn't end up as scary as it was. The no monsters is the biggest thing. It just ends up not being quite as aggressive, which is really nice.
It's just horde.
Yeah. My god. But the last Legendary Legion
that we're all here for, essentially the namesake of this book, the reason this book was released, Rise of the Necroman.
Rise of the Necroman!
The Necroman. The Necromancer. So he's the leader of the army, obviously.
Yep.
The entire Legendary Legion comes in one warband.
Yep. So it is the Necromancer, the named Nazgul from the Hobbit books, the Keeper of the Dungeon, and Castellians.
Which are bonkers for 45 points.
45 points.
With their Morgul Blade.
You're always going to give them Morgul Blade.
Bonkers.
They are such a fucking powerful
Similar to the Bolt Thrower. The Bolt Thrower is 70 points. It's not 50 because you always take Swift Reload.
Yeah.
Castellians...
45 points.
45 points because you always take the Morgul Blade.
Yeah. I mean, you've got 13
auto kill
models.
Out the wazoo.
Yeah. 13 models with fucking Morgul Blades. What the fuck? What the fuck?
And then all of the Nazgul from the Hobbit have their own special abilities, which we're not going to go over because there's too many different ones.
They're already there. They're already in the book.
They've got their Unholy Resurrection, so when they die, they come back on the roll of a 2+ or something like that.
I think it's more with the Necromancer.
With the Necromancer. I think with the Necromancer it makes it a 2+. Yeah. Something along the lines of that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's crazy. This is the Legion that is directly here to face the Vanquishers.
Yeah.
That's the idea is these two Legendary Legions.
To roll at each other, yeah. They throw hands.
Which I'd like to do one day, but I don't think any of us have the models.
Nope. Especially not the Necromancer and all of those really expensive Forge World models.
We love you, G-Dub.
Sponsor us.
Give us this book so we don't have to look at a video and zoom in.
We didn't do that. We have the book. The big rules are he still gets his spirit has lost none of its potency, which is his extra will cast when casting a spell with one will.
So it's not a free will, but it's a free will when you use one or more.
Yeah.
So it's not like a Galadriel or a wizard or whatever who can just spend a free one. Yeah. You do have to spend will first.
You do have to spend will first, but it's still, very, very solid. And then like that in combined with all these other rules and the fact that his casting rolls are like so fucking low.
2 pluses everywhere.
The biggest thing though, I think the massive thing that this Legendary Legion gets is the fact that he gets the 2 spells as well.
It's the power of the Necromancer. 2 different spells, similar to the Saruman one we mentioned before.
Yeah.
And he's resistant to friends.
So I was writing down, I was going to write, he gives allies resistant to magic. I wrote down on the Google Doc, he is resistant to friends. Which is true. That's true. I think all Sauron needed was a good therapist.
Just a friend. The mouth of Sauron's a toxic friend.
Real
toxic
He's just surrounded by yes men. I think that's his big problem.
He needs someone to say no. It's like, can I take over Middle Earth? No. Should I breed orcs? No.
Should I go follow Morgoth? No.
Yeah.
Oh man. Just
say once in a while. Say no to someone.
Yeah.
If you're going to take anything from this video, is use the word no once or twice.
Don't be resistant to friends.
Exactly.
Have
friends.
Oh my god. Yeah, and he also gets 2 attacks. Which 2 attacks with Chill Soul.
Drain Soul.
Or Drain Soul or whatever it is. Yeah. Man, fuck, you're killing a lot of models.
Huge.
That's a really good. It's a good Legendary Legion. I would say it's absolutely better than the Vanquishers, just purely on the fact that it could match up against quite a lot of other armies and still do really well because you can have those models because you've got a 45-point model to just throw.
Yeah, I do think the Vanquishers and the Rise of the Necromancer, those 2 Legendary Legions are going to be a lot of fun to see throwing.
Yes,
at
I would
each
love
other.
to see them.
And I think I was going to say complement each other. I think that's the right.
Yeah.
In terms of when they go on the table, I think it's going to be nice and even.
Yes.
So I definitely like to see that happen at some
point. I would love to see that happen because they are, they're such a solid little Legendary Legion. I love the 2 of them. I really think Rise of the Necromancer as a Legendary Legion that can go up against other armies, I think that wins out.
Yeah.
Because it's suddenly like the Necromancer is obviously really solid. The Spider's back. The Necromancer is obviously really solid, but I think the biggest thing is... please don't. My god. Oh my god, okay, yeah. We have 5% battery.
I think you can see him. It's Jerry.
Hello, you saw the spider.
National Tile.
Thanks for watching this video, everyone. I'm done. I'm done with this video. I need to leave. I need this man out of my house. Oh my god.
I'm just a storm of chaos. Just chaotic energy.
Please let us know what you think about these Legendary Legions. We think they are really solid.
I'm really excited for all of them. They're going to be.
I don't think there's a bad Legendary Legion amongst us.
No, definitely not.
There's ones we don't like, but that's just purely because it's Azog, and why the fuck are you giving Azog a Legendary Legion? And obviously Vanquishers, they're not like super competitive, but they're just so cool.
And a lot of fun.
It's just, it's like we did with the Men of the West. It's a bit like a Men of the West Legendary Legion, but it's just so much better because they're able to go, they've gone a lot more balls to the wall.
Oh yes.
They'll just go, everyone gets a new ability and everyone's new ability synergizes and they're all throwing shit at each other. Yeah. it's a lot nicer of a themed Legendary Legion like this that has to take these big heroes.
Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to it. And I know that you're in the
I'm running it.
Building it.
I'm going to do it. It's going to appear on the channel at some point. We're going to do...
odds are...
You're
Larry, I'm running Mirkwood Rangers 100%. Larry's gonna jump on either Rise of the Necro or
he'll do both. He will do
because I know he's currently building up a Necro model. So
yeah, he's got a Necromancer model. He's gonna get the Wraith somehow. He's gonna do the piss of Doggeldum for sure.
How Aussie is it to say Necro? for Necromancer.
Probably, yeah. Look, who knows? Who knows how well that's going to translate? Nico,
let us know if you're not from Australiana. If you are confused by the Neko.
the Neko man.
The Neko man.
Man. Overall, dude, yeah, there's not a bad Legendary Legion.
It's a solid supplement for a supplement that we were not expecting, and one that was potentially just thrown out as a placeholder for the next one coming up.
I would argue that this one came out because they didn't have a supplement for 2020. The Defense of the North wasn't going to come out in time.
Yeah. So this is one that definitely feels like it's been thrown together, but it's really good for being just suddenly tossed out there. Really good, really excited. The only thing I would have liked to have seen from this is a Dark Denizens of Mirkwood Legendary Legion. That's the only thing I'm a little bit disappointed about. Absolutely. But apart from that, absolutely ecstatic, and I can't wait to get my hands on the physical copy of this book.
Sometime. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Let us know your thoughts on the Legendary Legions below.
All the YouTuber stuff, like, favourite, subscribe.
Yep, make sure to follow us on Instagram.
Yep, last one's Noobs and Men.
We will catch you all next time. Thank you.